Today's lesson is going to be an introduction or a reintroduction into exponents. You probably have seen exponents in the past, but it might have been a while, so let's just review some of the quick rules of exponents. Let's get started. So on the first one, we have a statement up top. It says exponents are used to show repeated multiplication. And then we have an example of one. We have a yellow 2, which is big, and then a green 6, which is yellow. The yellow 2 is called the base. The green 6 is called the exponent. And the whole thing combined is called the power. So, with a base of 2 and an exponent of 6, the way you read that is 2 to the 6th power. And what that means is that you're going to multiply 2 multiplied by itself 6 times. And when you multiply 2 times 2, you get 4. And then multiply that by 2, you get 8. And then multiply that by 2, you get 16. By 2, 32. And by 2, 64. So the answer of 2 to the 6th power is 64. Excuse me. All right. So let's move on and make sure you copy this down. Get the words down because the vocabulary is very important. And then we're going to move on to some examples. So we have 3 columns here. The first column is the power, then the verbal expression in the middle, and then the value on the right side. So when you have a base of 5 and an exponent of 0, the way you say that is 5 to the 0 power. Okay? And the value of anything to the 0 power, 5 to the 0 power, anything to the 0 power, is always 1. Okay? Our second example, with a base of 12 and an exponent of 1, the way you would read that is 12 to the 1st power. And anything to the 1st power is always itself. So 12 to the 1st power would be 12. The third example, with a base of 6 and an exponent of 2, would be read as 6 to the 2nd power. Another way that you can read that or say that is 6 squared. And the way you solve that one would be 6 times 6, which would give us 36. Our fourth example, with a base of 4 that are in parentheses and then the exponent of 3 outside of the parentheses, is read as 4 to the 3rd power. Another way you could read that or say that is 4 cubed. And squared and cubed have to do with 2 dimensions and 3-dimensional shapes. And the way that you would solve that, find the value of 4 to the 3rd power, is 4 times 4 times 4, and that would give you 64. Because 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 4 would be 64. The next one, our fifth example, is a little tricky. The way you read this, and that I'm going to talk about that first, is the way you read it is, see that negative sign out in front? That stands for the opposite. So the opposite of 7 to the 4th power. And the way that you're going to do this one is you're going to put a negative sign and then parentheses, 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. And then you're going to multiply 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, and that would give you 2,401. But then that negative sign out in front, you're going to multiply. So your answer is going to be a negative 2,401. Okay? Now, that example, the one we just did, the opposite of 7 to the 4th, and the next one, there's a little difference. Do you see the parentheses that are around the negative 8? And there's no parentheses around the 7 or the negative sign. So the last example that I'm going to show you is a little bit different because this one is going to be read as this. Negative 8 to the 5th power. Okay, since the negative sign is attached to the number with parentheses, that makes it a negative 8. Unlike in the last one, the negative sign is not attached to the 7. It is just out there in front of the 7. So whatever answer you're going to get is going to be negative all the time. The way you would solve this is negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8. And the answer for this one, if you can't see it on the screen after the recording, is going to be 32,768, because you're multiplying negative 8 by itself 5 times. Okay? So why don't you make sure you copy those down and get a good understanding. If you're not really certain or sure as to what one answer is, watch the video again. Maybe go find another video that might explain this one better. But let's move on. And here are some examples that I would like you to do on your own. So write out the power, then write out the verbal phrase, then write out the answers. When you're done with this, come and check. There we go. Let's try that. Come and check your answer with your teacher and see if you get them right. Okay? Have a good one. Good luck. And check your answers with your teachers. Talk to you later.